You are watching Park TV. Welcome to Monadnock Tonight with your host, Steve Jackson, coming to you live from the Park Theater in downtown Jaffrey, New Hampshire. Join Steve as the show celebrates Earth Day in Jaffrey 2021. Our special guest is Jaffrey's Department of Public Works Superintendent, Todd Croteau. Now sit back, relax, and here's Steve.
Well, hello, everyone, and how are we doing? Greetings. Welcome to the Park Theater and to Park TV's Monadnock Tonight. It is Thursday, April 15th, 2021. It's about, as it always is when we come on, around 5 p.m. here on the East Coast, and this is show number 72. And it is rainy and kind of a snappy 41 degrees here in Jaffrey. I guess you would call it April weather to a degree, but not if this snow comes. I guess you'd still call that April weather in our neck of the woods. But we need rain, but hopefully the snow will be just look pretty and we can move on with our spring. And yes, I am Steve Jackson. I'm the CEO of the Park Theater and your host. And as always, we are so glad that you join us. As I've said, since we've been doing this here for several shows, we are broadcasting from the box office in the amazing new Park Theater Performing Arts Center right here on Main Street of Jaffrey. And as our wonderful announcer said, today is Earth Day. At Monadnock Tonight. Lots of great things, a wonderful guest. And but first, we always have some news about what's going on with the Park Theater itself. And I have to say, yesterday was a major news day for the Park Theater, for the building of the Park Theater. Because our good friends at Barlow Signs out of Hudson, New Hampshire, came over and put up our marquee. And I'm guessing quite a few of you have already seen it. We're kind of proud of it. We haven't put any message. We were going to put some messages up today, kind of introductory messages, but the rain took us away from doing that. But stay tuned. There will be messages on our sign. And here it is. For those who have not been to downtown Jaffrey in the past 24 hours, you can see some of the photos of the folks from Barlow installing the sign, lifting it up there. It's pretty massive. It's 33 feet wide by 4 feet high. And if you want to count those bulbs, there are 220 of them that circle around the edge of the frame of the marquee. And yes, it's the old-fashioned hand letters that we have a gizmo stick that we pop up the letters. So it's definitely old school. And those are the roots of the Park Theater. So we thought, well, that's the way it should be. But we thank everyone there. We also thank our friends at the Ben Conant, editor of the Ledger Transcript over in Peterborough, the Monadnock Ledger Transcript, because Ben came by and took a bunch of photos himself and gave us a very nice feature in the center of the page and another page inside. Lots of photos of the marquee going into place. So thank you, Ben, and to all of our friends and to the Monadnock Ledger Transcript, who is has been and continues to be a major supporter of the Park Theater. Thank you, Monadnock Ledger Transcript. And so that turned out to be kind of an exceptional, something fresh and new, and you're going to see a lot of it. You're going to be looking up there many times to see what's playing at the movies, who's performing live. And I'm going to announce something today. If you've already been on Facebook, you may have seen the post. But there's a name of, well, I can only hope that we'll be able to get this individual live on our stage. But in between, we have a way of presenting this artist virtually. Starting today, we will be offering live streamed concerts from across the country. You can purchase the live stream through the Park Theater. Every ticket sold, we get a percentage of that ticket, and is given to us. So it's very good for us, and it's very good for you because you're going to see shows you wouldn't normally be able to see in any way, shape, or form. Information for the shows will be available through a new page that we have not fully assembled yet because we just got approved for carrying this content, which will be on the website. So be on the lookout for that very soon. But in the meantime, and we posted this on Facebook, and it went out in an email blast this afternoon along with other information. We're very proud to announce our first concert. And our first concert that we're presenting, that we are presenting through us because you can purchase the tickets through us. It's being produced down in New York City live, is with Mr. Keb Mo. And Keb Mo is a Grammy award-winning blues man extraordinaire. If you have never seen Keb Mo perform, you're missing out. And he is extraordinary. He has a wonderful stage presence, incredible musician, singer, and he's got the Grammys to back it up. But Keb Mo is going to be performing live down in a really great place in New York City called City Winery, and it's going to be on May 5th and 6th. And it's going to be live streamed. And all you have to do is go to our Facebook posts, and you'll be able to click on to buy a ticket. You see that code there. You know what to do with that QR code. If you play this back tomorrow or whatever, you can go to this point in the show. That's another way to do it. And if you use your smartphone with that code, it'll go right to the ticketing page. I believe on May 5th, the live show is 7 p.m. Eastern time. And May 6th, I believe, and that's a Wednesday, May 5th at 7 p.m. And May 6th, Thursday, I believe it's at 9:30 p.m. And I think that's probably there to help our folks on the East Coast. But I think you're going to like it. And what the other artists that we have coming up are amazing names. Michael McDonald and just many of them. So be on the lookout for more of that. But pick up a ticket for Keb Mo right now. And the tickets, I should tell you, are $20. $20, and you can. They give you instructions of how you can certainly look at it on your smartphone or your tablet or your laptop or desktop, but they give you instructions of how you can cast it up to your big screen TV. And so that's good stuff. Keb Mo, May 5th and 6th at the virtual Park Theater. And again, I sure hope that someday we can have Keb Mo on our stage. So that's the Keb Mo and the virtual concert announcement. What else do we have here? Well, it is. Let me see if I have not. No, I have. I'll get to that. Well, Park Pix Flicks. We have a special Park Pix Flicks. We have Oscar Salute Month that's been going on. But we also, in honor of Earth Day, we are presenting some environmental nature short films. And they include one from Disney you might have seen growing up. I mean, every generation sees this film. It's called Beaver Valley. It's about a half an hour from their True Life series. It was produced in 1950. It won the Oscar for Best Short Subject in 1951. There's a more recent film called Home, which is an 8-minute memoir about Greenland, and it won the Best Environmental Short at the Scandinavian Film Festival back in 2019. A wonderful short film called How to Save Our Planet by with Richard Attenborough. And then there is a short little film, and I'm going to show you a little bit of it. I think everyone knows who Greta Thunberg is. And this is a little preview of a film that she produced short film that she produced along with Nature Now organization. And let's take a peek at it.
This is not a drill. My name is Greta Thunberg. We are living in the beginning of a mass extinction. Our climate is breaking down. Children like me are giving up their education to protest. But we can still fix this. You can still fix this. To survive, we need to stop burning fossil fuels. But this alone will not be enough. Lots of solutions are talked about. But what about a solution that is right in front of us? I'll let my friend George explain.
There is a magic machine that sucks carbon out of the air, costs very little, and builds itself. It's called a tree. A tree is an example of a natural climate solution. Mangroves, peat bogs, jungles, marshes, seabeds, kelp forests, swamps, coral reefs, they take carbon out of the air and lock it away.
Well, that's just a taste, but that will be one of the links. These are all free because they're part of Parks PixFlix, and they start tomorrow. And how you get to Park PixFlix is just, there'll always be a link in Facebook, but if you go to the parktheater.org, in the top right, you'll see a link for Park PixFlix, and you get to see this special collection that was curated by Peggy Ueda of short films of nature and the environment, and an Oscar winner that ties us into Oscar month. But all the other Parks PixFlix films that we have there, and there are dozens, and I think there's always something, and I've heard so many lovely things from people who have started to go there on a regular basis to watch the films that have been curated by us. So that's Parks PixFlix. Now, next, as we announced last week, on a week from today at 7 p.m., we will present a live Oscar panel featuring Oscar winners and nominees and more. It will be hosted by Ernest Thompson, who won his Oscar for his adapted screenplay of his own play, called Little Thing Called On Golden Pond. Plus Oscar winner Estelle Parsons, who now resides in this lovely state of ours, who won for Best Supporting Actress in the 1967 film Bonnie and Clyde. And Russell Williams, II, who won 2 Academy Awards for achievement in sound. So he comes from a different, from more of the craft area of filmmaking. And he won them for 2 not too bad films, Dances with Wolves and Glory. And he's won a bunch of Emmy Awards as well. We can show our panel here. Where do we have our panel? There they are. So you see little pictures there. You see Ernest Thompson, Peg Alloy, and Peg is a film and TV critic. She's also a member of the Boston Film Critics Society, was the film critic for many years over at the Boston Phoenix, but has written for numerous national publications as well. And again, writes on film and TV. Larry Benequist is film department professor emeritus at Keene State, also a filmmaker himself, as well as a film preservationist. So there's lots that Larry can come from that standpoint. As I said, Estelle Parsons and then Russell Williams showing off in that photo there that he's got some Emmys as well as Oscars. And the tickets for this event, again, next Thursday, April 22nd, 7 p.m., they're $10 for an individual, $15 for a group or household. And again, you can use this little scanning code, but you can go to theparktheater.org right now. It's the first thing you see. Click on it, and you'll go into our ticketing. And there's more information. You can read more about Peg and more about Larry and Ernest and Estelle and Russell. You can read all about them on the website that's for this show, Oscar Talk, a live discussion about the 2021 Oscars and all things film. I think it's going to be very interesting. Ernest, as I say, is going to be the host, and we hope that you come out. And well, you don't have to come out. All you have to do is warm up the iPad, smartphone, or laptop. And again, this can be also cast up to your large screen TV, and there are instructions on there for that. As I said before, this is our Earth Day Jaffrey program, and we're very proud to be kind of the media theater sponsor. And the committee has put together so many wonderful things for you to be informed about. And I'm sure many people have seen this flyer that they put together, and all the events coming up, including what we're doing right now. But and the short films, and I'll tell you about the speaker that's coming up in a few days. But the first thing on here was on April 7th, and it was the Kiss the Ground documentary. And if you have not seen this documentary and you care about Earth, you need to watch it. This is it's really a wonderfully put together, narrated by Woody Harrelson, talks about Earth and the issues and that just physical Earth have around the Earth, and what's helped destroy it, and what can be done about that. And but let's take a look at. There's a trailer for it, and the good news is that they had made it available that you could watch it and stream it anytime from 4 to 10 on April 7th. But if you have a Netflix subscription, it is on Netflix. And if you if you don't have a subscription, find out with somebody that does and go over and watch it there at their home. And so let's watch this. Kiss the Ground.
There's so much bad news about our planet. It's overwhelming. The truth is, I've given up. This is the story of a simple solution, a way to heal our planet. The solution is right under our feet, and it's as old as dirt.
All of our soils that are under chemical conventional agriculture are almost completely devoid of microorganisms.
Modern agriculture was not designed for the betterment of the soil.
Fossil fuels are by no means the only thing that is causing climate change. When we damage soils, carbon goes back to the atmosphere.
But when we destroy soil, it releases carbon dioxide.
Biosequestration is using plants, trees, and techniques of grazing and farming to capture carbon and store it in the soil.
We can fix a lot of our climate issues if we bring the CO2 down into a living plant and put it back into the soil where it belongs.
Plants working with soil microorganisms, it seems too simple.
Healthy soils lead to a healthy plant, healthy human, healthy climate.
There could be a way to eat food that heals the planet.
The problem isn't the animal. The problem is where the animals are at.
How do we take waste and repurpose and reuse it, because it's really not waste?
The poop has to stay in the loop.
Compost is just one of a suite of soil-based carbon capture solutions.
We know how to do it. And if we continue to scale over 30 years, we can reverse global warming.
We can get the Earth back to the Garden of Eden that it once was by regeneration.
To see biodiversity return to a place that was completely devastated.
That gives me hope.
Our health and the health of our planet are connected.
If you look over here, my neighbor's land that has been chemical fallow, then you look over at our paddocks, you have a diversity of different plant species. Which model do you want your food to be produced from? The answer is pretty simple to me.
I'll make you a deal. I won't give up, and neither should you.
See this film. I got to tell you, see this film. You can't not learn something from this film. And there some horrible history, but it needs to be learned. And but it also shows people that are making a difference in small ways and big ways. And it's really very well put together documentary on the state of the affair of what makes this world go around, our planet go around, which is Earth. And so I highly recommend that. Now, I was going to show, but I'm going to, if we have time at the end today, I'll show it. And if not, I'll add it on to the Park Pixflix. But there's also a wonderful film put together by the global organizing group, earthday.org, which is to remind people in 1970 how this whole event came about. And I can tell you there were, it was a protest. There were many arrests around the United States, including Boston, because of the activities going on that day. But there were some mayors, like Mayor Lindsay in New York, that closed streets and allowed things to happen for people to get to understand the state of the state. So I will, if we have time, we'll show it. It's not that long, but no matter what, I'll add it to the films that are on Park Pixflix as an additional short film. It's well worth watching if you don't know the entire history of how Earth Day began in April 22nd, 1970. Let's get to our guest, and I know you've been waiting for him. Our guest today is the superintendent of the Department of Public Works right here in our little town called Jaffrey, Mr. Todd Croteau. And let's bring on Todd through our magic here. Hello, Todd.
Hi, Steve.
Glad you could be with us on Monadnock tonight on our Earth Day edition, I guess we should say.
Well, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. I really appreciate it.
Well, there's a lot that I know that you're going to be able to keep us, to get us informed, talking about the films informing, but informing right in our own backyard about what's going on, the initiatives, what's the town doing? And then most importantly, what can we do? And there are many things, but before we get to some of those initiatives, just a little bit about you, Todd, in terms of how long you've been in the position, where you came from, where you grew up, where'd you go to school, and then we'll kind of take things from there.
Okay. Well, I've been here. I just finished my 1-year anniversary here. I'm just over a year.
Congratulations.
It's been fantastic being here. I've hit life's lottery being asked to be a part of the community here in Jaffrey. I grew up in Massachusetts, what used to be a little town called Westford, just over the border from Nashua, a little south of Nashua. I've been working in public works for 24 years. I've worked, in several different communities. Started in Westford, was in Florida for a little while, spent time in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, Hollis, New Hampshire, and now I'm here and very happy to be here. Where did I go? I went to, I took some courses at UMass Lowell. I went to Springfield College and was looking to get a degree in secondary education history. But I was bitten by the public works bug, and this has been my lifelong passion, working in the community.
My question is, how do you get bitten by that bug? What were the things that said, this is interesting stuff, I want to get my hands on this stuff?
Well, it's tough to say. From building roads, maintaining roads, I really geek out on some of the newer technologies. Back in 1997 in Westford, the thing that really intrigued me, we started using liquid anti-icing agents, this byproduct of distillation that was produced in Jamaica. The byproduct produced in Jamaica was brought up here, and we used it. We were one of the first communities in the Northeast to start using it as an anti-icing agent, pre-treating roads, and that was really neat. There wasn't much information out there on it at the time, and there was a little bit of a learning curve, and I just really got into trying to develop that technique for that community, and it's been something I've been trying to get back at ever since, and using these different products to try and reduce the amount of chlorides that we use on our streets for winter maintenance. While they're important to use to maintain the safety on the roads, they should be used in moderation, and can be used in moderation.
And forgive me if you had mentioned this, but the town that you most recently came from, where you were?
I was the director of public works in Hollis. I was only there. Hollis.
Holland, yeah. So then, as we, 1 year late, but welcome to Jaffrey, at least from our folks here. And also, as we move along in this discussion with Todd, if anyone has a question for Todd that they'd like to see if we could get it answered on the show, you can leave it in, if you're on, for those watching us on Facebook, just a comment. It will pop up and we will hopefully see it. The same with our folks watching on Park YouTube right now. And let's see who else is watching on Twitch. Hi, and thank you for folks watching us on Twitch. I don't know how Twitch actually gets us. I think that you can put comments on Twitch. I don't know Twitch as well as the others. But please ask Todd a question. And then from that, so how have you seen in the positions that you've had, how towns have begun to change? And I hope you're going to say, well, they have begun to change in terms of how they deal with waste and toxic everything over the past 5 years, 10 years, however, as long as you've been doing this type of work.
Yeah, over the last 20 years, things have evolved so far from what they were when I first started. We're looking at things like rain gardens to treat stormwater prior to just being dumped in the river, and porous pavements that will reinfuse stormwater back into the aquifer directly below where it falls. There's these tree filters. UNH did a big program, pilot program, about taking a storm drain and dumping it directly into another container that contains a tree, and the tree filters out all the contaminants, and it's absolutely fabulous. They've certainly the dealing with stormwater runoff has evolved significantly through the years. Multimodal transportation projects. We're no longer designing roads to just for cars. We want all activities to be incorporated into street design. Your bikes, your pedestrians, and those things have come a long way. The complete streets that have been, Goodnow Street, which is a small complete street project, but that incorporates all the aspects of intermodal transportation. So allowing people to have easier access to a way of getting places without using a car is really come a long way.
Yeah.
And you see it more so in the big cities now, but it's starting to get out into the smaller, rural communities that have small urban centers, similar to Jaffrey.
And one of the biggest issues for towns of any size is the whole landfill issue. And what are some of the things that you're looking at in terms of our landfill process and evolving that process?
Well, I want to just step back to just a higher level. The state of New Hampshire has a solid waste emergency going on right now. If nothing changes in the way things are done, or capacities aren't, if the amount of solid waste going to the landfills does not decrease, or the capacities are not increased, by 2035 there'll be a deficit of any way to get rid of your actual solid waste. Right now, 50% of trash coming or in New Hampshire comes from out of state, and a lot of it is coming from Massachusetts. The Massachusetts is in a landfill crisis. They're running out. They're closing all their landfills down there, and so they are carting it to the nearest states that they can. And New Hampshire is one of the ones that is a big receiver of Massachusetts trash.
And what do number one, why are we? Is there business to be made there? Is why people are taking it here? And then what do we do with it?
There is big business to be had. You have Casellas, you have Waste Management. They own two of the largest landfills in New Hampshire, Turnkey and I believe it's the one up by Bethlehem, up that way, but it doesn't matter. So and you can't stop them from bringing it here because of federal laws. It's interstate commerce. They have to be allowed to bring it here. There was some legislation on the books last year in regard to how to deal with some of this issue, and it was part of a big omnibus bill, and Governor Sununu had vetoed that bill. So that kind of has gone on hold for right now, but there's a big push to bring some legislation back and start the process of trying to limit this. There hasn't been a waste to energy facility built in the state for 35 years. I believe Wheelabrator, the Concord facility, was the last one. While incinerating trash for energy is the second to last thing on the recycling hierarchy, it is still better than landfilling it, and you'll be able to get at least some benefit to the waste.
That surprises me that it's better than landfill.
Yeah.
Well, what area? I mean, obviously landfill issues, not all of them, but they begin with people at the home.
Correct.
In terms of how much they're producing or how much they're taking care of on their own. And it seems like towns and states need to provide guidance and programs for homeowners, apartment dwellers as well, to what they can do at home to best not get it just taken down to the dump, as the old saying goes, right?
Correct. Yes. No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. At this point, backyard composting is a great way to divert food scrap waste from the waste stream. Organic waste, it makes up about 35% of the weight of trash. And to be able to remove that weight, and organic waste also includes yard waste. We currently take yard waste at the transfer station. Organic waste for a transfer station to deal with on a residential collection level is kind of difficult. I know Mark Morgan from Lebanon. He's had a composting program in Lebanon for over 10 years, and they just started receiving residential composting because there's a lot of wish recycling, and there's wish composting, and people put things in compost that don't exactly or try to compost things that aren't exactly compostable in a manner that would make the recipe work well to biodegrade the materials that are being dropped off. I'm a big advocate of backyard composting. If people can pull those table scraps out and compost it at their residence. At this point, that's the best avenue to reduce the amount going into the transfer station and going into the landfills and going to the incinerator. The City of Keene has started a pilot program with the NRRA. They're offering backyard worm boxes and another backyard composting container, and both of those are very viable options and a great idea, and getting those into residents' hands is a great thing.
One thing Todd was mentioning, and I'll give more information about it at the end of the show, about Mark Morgan, who is part of the Earth Day Jaffrey events. And there's information on something coming up on the 20th that I will tell you about, because obviously Mark is doing some innovative things in terms of compost food scraps and all that. Well, what would you say in our town, for starters, but what would be Jaffrey's number one environmental challenge or environmental issue? I'm putting you on the spot too much. I don't mean to, but I mean, in the list of things that we need to get corrected around here.
Gosh, that's a tough one that's a really tough one to answer. There's so many small things.
Yeah.
That individually they can all be tackled, but when you take it as a big ball of a bunch of small things, it becomes this giant snowball to deal with. I think from a transfer station point of view, yes, the composting is a fairly significant thing to start trying to get a program going to educate and get an educational component and get people involved. I know the Jaffrey Climate Initiative is very interested in getting this going. For me, it's going to just take a little bit of time. I got my fingers in a lot of pots at this point. And we have some new employees at the transfer station that have started very recently, and I need to get them up to speed. I have a bunch of stormwater issues that I have to deal with. Like I said, I can't really put one giant nut out there that if we did this we were going to save Jaffrey. There's a bunch of smaller.
I can understand they all kind of ladder up to big things.
Right.
Tell me, this is just curious on my end, and you probably know a lot more about this than just what I read, but there are more and more communities that appear to be banning plastic bags. Are you sensing that here? I mean, I see it, and now I'm just seeing it naturally. If there's a news story on and somebody's walking out of a CVS somewhere in Illinois, I saw it in somewhere, they're walking out of one in, certainly California, and they're walking out with a CVS brown bag. And I'm wondering, is that moving, is that process of trying to reduce just the plastic bag problem have any steam in our neck of the woods in New England?
Well, in New England, there was a big push out on the seacoast to ban plastic bags. I think it's organically, traveling westward as we go, and it's a cultural thing. Dunkin' Donuts has changed their cups to become more environmentally friendly and recyclable. There's a lot of these businesses are starting to get into this cultural movement to have more recycled products and get rid of the single-use plastics. So it's eventually it will be here, and I just don't know if at the state or federal level if they have the chops to be able to actually put on a regional state, a regional countrywide ban to these things. But I think organically, as you have more businesses becoming on board and becoming more aware of the damage that these single-use plastics are doing, I think that it's like a grassroots movement at this point.
Yeah. The other thing that I wanted to ask about, now it just flew out of my brain. Well, in terms of people wanting to do something themselves, I mean, are there any advice that you give? I mean, certainly Mark Morgan, when if people want to tune in, they'll find out more about the food scraps plan that he has outlined for folks to do at home. But tips for people just to act a little bit better as a citizen in terms of making your life a little easier and making our town a little cleaner.
Yeah. The first thing is reuse. Get more than one use out of a product. There are a lot of things that what may be junk to you may be treasure to somebody else. There's always that opportunity to pay it on down the road somewhere else. Try and you really want to shy away from these single-use products. And packaging, it seems to be getting better. I want to diverge a little bit. Over in Europe, in Netherlands or Finland, I think it's the Netherlands, the government has mandated that every product that is produced needs a certain amount of recycled material from the previous product that company produced. If we had a mandate on the producers to incorporate recycled products into their goods, you would see a reduction in the waste stream and in things being landfilled or going to the incinerator. I think there's a real good reason to mandate that manufacturers use recycled products or recyclables in their products.
Of everything that's taken at the Jaffrey transfer station, what would you say is what is the most recyclable item? Is it aluminum? Is it paper? Is there one that really, is it some form of plastic? I don't know.
Are you asking what we take in the most of, or?
Well, I guess which one has the best life cycle that, does, I mean, how much of the amount of, or maybe in general, and this is not Jaffrey specific, but of the amount of aluminum that goes out into the marketplace, 95% is recycled, 80% is recycled, or, it's the amount of paper that goes out, X percent comes back. I'm just wondering if there is, something to focus on, that glass is better. Glass is a better recyclable item than aluminum, or and how, I mean, we all tend to believe that plastic is evil, but is it a good recyclable item?
It depends on when I have to put on my being a good steward of my budget and to the taxpayers. The thing that pays the most currently, that would be our cardboard. That's paying very well. Metals have started to come back. Our mixed paper, which is your small pressboard boxes and things of that nature, that is making a comeback. We since April of last year, prior to April of last year, we were paying $50 a ton to recycle mixed paper. We're now getting a $25 revenue for that. So the recycling markets are coming back around. What has really screwed things up was big trash having people go single stream. And people wish recycling, thinking that everything can go in, we got this big bin, we can just throw everything in it and it's going to magically, go away, come back, as a new product. Well, a lot of that stuff was trash. So in China, which was taking like 70% of the world's recyclables, they were tired of getting the world's trash with the recyclables. So they cracked down and they wanted to get a cleaner product or a cleaner commodity coming in to their shores. So they basically shut the world off. Was 2-3 years ago. So what's happened now is the Chinese companies that were bringing the recycling in, they've come over here. They've started opening up material handling facilities, buying up pulp mills, and getting the trash out of that stuff over here. But still, the single stream markets, they're paying. It's costing more to process single stream recycling than it is to get rid of the municipal the solid waste. So you're paying more for recycling than you're paying to get rid of your trash. So, the economics of that doesn't work out. You've had communities that just started throwing everything in the trash because it's cheaper. Fortunately here in Jaffrey, we've stayed a source separated community. It's a good thing, and we're getting good money for our recyclables.
That helps understand that better. We do have a question or comment from Tori McCagg, who says, "Thank you, Todd. This is great." She just wanted to have you, I don't believe you mentioned the plastic bag drive.
As part of Earth Day and this month and going forward, with the help of the Jaffrey Climate Initiative, actually with the Jaffrey Climate Initiative to collect single-use plastic films or thin plastic films, the market basket bags, the wrappers the thin wrappers that are on a lot of the products that come in boxes. We're collecting them now at the recycling center. They have a couple more collection areas around town. Tori, if you could type in where I believe there's one at the bank.
Are these the Trex bins?
The Trex bins.
Well, I know on the flyer, it mentions Beltates has got one.
Beltates has one. Yep. So they're collecting them and they're weighing how much of these thin film plastics, and if they are able to hit a mark of weight through I believe a 6-month period, Trex will donate a couple of benches made out of recycled materials back to the community. So it's a really great thing, and I think we're going to see this for a lot longer here in town.
Great. That's a great, simple but powerful initiative.
Yeah.
I know we could keep asking. I know I could keep asking you questions all day long, all night long. But we need to. Sadly, we need to get towards the end of our show now. But Todd and I had talked about this at the beginning of the show, and if you want to ask Todd a question on your own, because clearly Todd is a wealth of information in this area, you're seeing it crawl across the bottom to call Todd at the Jaffrey Department of Public Works at 532-6521 extension 401. And I'll keep that crawling for a moment.
And if the people want to go to the website, I have a link to my email on the website, so they can on the town website, so they can communicate.
So if you go into townofjaffrey.com and then go into Public Works section.
Yes. Yep.
Well, hopefully everybody knows because there's a lot of good stuff on the townofjaffrey.com website. News and information you can use about your own home, about all sorts of things, about what's going on in this town. And if you care about it, you should visit it, but visit the Public Works section. And that's another way to get in contact with Todd. Well, Todd, this has been very informative, and thank you for your year here. And of course, you obviously, if you've been here just on a year, you started this job during COVID,
right?
And but you're still here, and you're with us, and you're working it, and you're figuring it out. COVID be damned, as they say, and God bless you for that.
Hey, just to circle back around a bit, I saw Kev Moe in concert, and that's a great show, and I look forward to seeing him again.
I like that endorsement. There is somebody. Don't take it from me, folks. If you've seen Kev Moe in concert, then you know how an incredible performer this guy is, and we're so lucky that we're able to be one of the theaters around the country, performing arts centers, theaters that are to help benefit their own organizations are selling these streams to these shows. And when I saw Kev Moe, that has to be the first. And you've got, again, thank you for that. You've got 2 days, either May 5th or May 6th, to watch a live concert of Kev Moe from New York. Thank you, Todd. I love that endorsement. Well, it's great. This is my first time I've met Todd. I've met him virtually here, and wonderful to meet you. Thank you for doing what you do for the town of Jaffrey. And we hope to see you around, and we hope to have you back on Monadnock tonight.
All right. Great. It's been a pleasure being here, and thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Todd. Great. Thanks very much. Well, that's not bad for Earth Week in Jaffrey to be listening to Todd and what he's doing here to make this place a better place, and what you can do. And Todd's got he's put his phone number out there, so take advantage of that. And if you've got a question of how to make your own home a better home for recycling, as well as our town, that would be great. That would be great. Well, I thank everybody. There's not enough time to show again that video that I told you about. That is from the Earth Day organization. So as I say, I will add it to our Park Pix Flicks list for Earth Day /Oscars. So you can start seeing those tomorrow. One thing I did want to tell you about, and I'm going to bring it up right now, is Mr. Mark Morgan, another one of the initiatives for Earth Day. On Tuesday, April 20th at 7 p.m., Mark will be the Earth Day speaker, and his topic is, as no surprise from what Todd was saying, food scrap composting, reduce your waste impact on the environment, period. There it is. And just you can register to be part of that by going to jaffrey.recdesk.com. And Mark is an avid person that understands recycling. He is the general manager of WindCycle, which I think that it is Lebanon. And he's trying to figure out, the electronic waste recycling options that are there, in addition to organic waste recycling options. There are many options of how to compost and how to recycle, and Mark will be talking about all of those, but certainly about the food scrap is what we'll be focusing on. So register for that. Should be great. And Happy Earth Week to everyone. Let's see, what else will we finish up with? Who do we have on next week? Next week we have Jared Mazzacci, who is the creative director at Andy's Playhouse, but this is more about something personal. At the Geffen Playhouse in Los Angeles, he is virtually producing a new play, an interactive play that even our folks around here can buy tickets for it. You get actually something in the mail that you will interact with his kind of spooky story. It's called Ghost something, and I'm forgetting the end title to it, but we'll talk all about it with Jared, and he'll let us know how it works and this whole mechanism of how it's very interactive, and it's at the it's part of the esteemed Geffen Playhouse. So here's to Jared, and we'll see him next week. We will also give a little bit of an Oscar talk preview, because when our show ends here, about an hour later, the Oscar talk show will begin. And so we'll give you a little preview to that. So please, there's a lot going on, and it's good stuff. And again, if you ever have a question about what we do here, if you'd like to sponsor what we do here, have guest ideas, and people do, and they send us information about them through either giving a call or letting me know. Park TV at theparktheater.org. Call us at our administration office, 532-9300, 532-9300. And as we end our show, every week, 72 times we've done this, we ask everyone to be safe, to be healthy, get your vaccination. As always, number one, be kind to others and be hopeful, because the light is getting a little brighter. Again, this is Steve Jackson. Thank you for being with us. I thank our guest, Todd Croteau, today for making us a little bit smarter about how to be better citizens of this town and of this world with what we do with waste and all those types of things. So with that, I hope to see you next week, same time, same channel, and have a great weekend, and watch out for that snow.